Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is going to be about Raw with the wrap-off, rock-off, jack-off results from tonight's Raw episode. Okay, and as always, I give you some brief WWE news, such as possible WrestleMania spoiler. Could Mark Henry be headed to Raw? The official website of the Thompson Bowling Arena is advertising the Raw SmackDown. The SmackDown star is going to be facing John Cena in a special challenge match for a Raw live event taking place at the venue on May 5th. All other talent advertised for the show are members of the Raw roster. A triple threat match featuring Alberto Del Rio, CM Punk, and Chris Jericho is also scheduled for the same night. It's not stated on who is the champion on that one. Seldom seen Raw superstar JTG is on the road this week with WWE. He did job duties to Ryback, that's other known as Skip Sheffield, at Raw live events on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and he recently got engaged. Congratulations, JTG. Former WWE star Billy Gunn celebrated 1 year of sobriety last week. His wife cracked into his Twitter account on Saturday and quoted by saying, "Hacked by your wife. Congratulations on your 1 year sobriety. One day and one step at a time. You got this, baby. Love you." Unquote. Well, Gunn's real name is Monty Sop, if you didn't know. And I just told you so now you know the rest of the story. Well, he has admitted to drug use in many interviews. His lengthy tenure with WWE ended in 2004 following a visit to a rehabilitation facility. The Rock's upcoming movie project, Empire State, has added actress Emma Roberts to his cast. According to Variety.com, The Rock will play a detective in the film, which is scheduled to shoot after Rock films Pain and Gain, starting in April. So that's another 2 movies after WrestleMania. On Monday morning, WWE's board of directors announced that WrestleMania 28 will feature a Team Laurinaitis versus Team Teddy Long 12-man tag match, with the participants being portrayed somehow on Raw tonight, and the winning team, actually the winning general manager's team, gets control of both brands. Participants for both teams will be announced in the coming weeks. Well, we already know there's going to be 3 or 4, actually 3 guys that's on Teddy Long's team, as you'll see in the results from Raw. And here's your predicted teams for Laryngitis' team. Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger, David Otunga, Christian, Mark Henry, and Alberto Del Rio. Speaking of Christian, he will return tomorrow night's SmackDown episode with his old skit in the ring. And Teddy Long's apparent team prediction: Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, Ezekiel Jackson, Santino Marella, Great Khali, and 1 more participant. Possibly the final participant of Teddy Long's team is Evan Bourne or Rey Mysterio, if he's medically cleared to return. They could just have him stay on the ring apron and just sit there. As for Evan Bourne, it's unknown because his suspension is coming up this week. As seen on Friday's SmackDown, Laryngitis booked Drew McIntyre in a match against Hornswoggle to get his job back since he was fired the previous week. McIntyre won the match and has earned his job back on Friday nights. It's unknown when he's supposed to be starting his new Playboy gimmick. Randy Orton teased on his Twitter site or Twitter account that he has a new movie role coming up in the near future. Unknown what the name of it is. Chris Jericho stated on Twitter that his light-up jacket malfunctioned at Sunday's Raw live event in Buffalo, New York. Here's what he had to say about that. "Great show and crowd in Buffalo tonight. No casualties either, except for my jacket. Time to call in the electric pit crew at Raw." And by the way, he didn't even use his jacket because it was filmed in a backstage segment, and he was probably not even there at the event because it could have been taped earlier in the day. Former WWE manager Paul Bearer has been announced to appear under his real name at Wizard World Philadelphia Comic Con, which takes place June 1st to the 3rd at Pennsylvania Convention Center, 1101 Arch Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He is being advertised under his real name, Bill Moody. Seth Rollins, a former Ring of Honor talent, and now a WWE developmental wrestler, challenged Cody Rhodes for the Intercontinental Championship at Sunday's SmackDown Live event in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It was back and forth action match, which concluded with Rhodes hitting Crossroads on Rollins for the pinfall victory. Rollins is touring with the SmackDown roster this week. He beat Drew McIntyre in the previous night in East Lansing, Michigan. Yokozuna is expected to be announced for the induction into the WWE Hall of Fame tonight on Raw Super Show. But I didn't catch the news on that, so they may be holding it off till next week. Though Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was originally slated to induct the two-time WWE champion into the Hall, it is now rumored that over the weekend Bret Hart will instead do the honors. Former WWE champion Ultimate Warrior asked his Twitter followers on Sunday to name their favorite Ultimate Warrior moment at WrestleMania. Champion CM Punk took part in the session as well and answered Warrior vs. Savage as his best match. Favorite match. Two-time WWE Cruiserweight champion Nunzio turned 40 years old today, while former WWE diva Nydia turned 33. Medusa, who formerly competed for WWE as Alundra Blaze, revealed Saturday on Facebook that she was recently contacted by a former employer regarding this. Both F4W Online and PW Insider speculate that she was among the huge number of former talent invited to take part in interviews for upcoming WWE Network features. WWE will be filming several interviews in the next few weeks, leading up to WrestleMania 28 in Miami, Florida. THQ is having a contest for a chance to win 2 all-expenses-paid trip to Miami, Florida for all the events for that weekend. And you can go to www.thq.com for more info. Regarding Jim Ross working this year's WrestleMania 28 event, it's believed that the decision will be made this week of the big event. As always, it comes down to what Vince McMahon wants. Ross may end up calling 1 or 2 matches this year. And it's believed that Undertaker has asked officials if Ross can call his match, but The Rock and John Cena have not yet decided. Former TNA wrestling talent Chase Stevens is backstage at Raw Super Show tonight in Cleveland, Ohio, as company officials are taking a look at him. The 3-time NWA World Tag Team Champion has received favorable reviews for his work in Nashville, Tennessee-based promotion Showtime All-Star Wrestling. For those that don't know, that's the Naturals tag team, Chase Stevens, and his tag team partner was Andy Douglas. Former WWE star Carlito said of Dolph Ziggler and Zack Swagger on Zack Ryder on Twitter. He's quoted by saying, "Ziggler has actually gotten pretty damn good. I don't get the whole Zack Ryder thing, but I'm happy for him." Unquote. CM Punk is featured on the cover of the latest issue of The Wrestler with the headline reading, "Think you're a fan of CM Punk? Visit pwionline.com to see the cover." Acclaimed Japanese wrestler Kenta, who innovated CM Punk's finishing maneuver, the go to sleep, turned 31 years old on Monday. Punk was asked Sunday on Twitter how he came up with the GTS and replied, "Stole it from Kenta, that's right." A video has surfaced of Balls Mahoney, formerly of ECW, vomiting after being hit in the head with a chair by Marty Jannetty, formerly of WWF, as the Rocker. During a match at Friday's Pro Wrestling Syndicate Supercard 2012 event in Rahway, New Jersey, you can find the link on rfvideo.com. WWE has signed former Dragon Gate USA star Brody Lee, and he has reportedly signed a developmental deal with WWE. And Lee is nearly almost 7 foot tall, so they've got another wrestler that's tall. And I've heard some rumors that qualifications for WWE, if you want to get humiliated, we'll take you on the job. WWE taped the Raw portion of this week's Superstars tonight from the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. Below are the following is the full results. Dark match: Seth Rollins defeated Michael McGillicuddy. Superstars aired: R-Truth and Kofi Kingston defeated Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex. WWE Divas champion Beth Phoenix defeated Kelly Kelly. A live mic was dropped during the bout that led off a loud boom in the arena, which scared half the crowd, as the report was saying. Santino is the captain of Teddy Long's team for the 12-man tag team match announced today for WrestleMania 28. David Otunga is the captain for Laryngitis' team and is joined by Mark Henry. While not officially announced, Kofi Kingston and R-Truth are expected to join Santino on Team Long, as thus you will see in the results on Raw, because they helped them in the match. After the match, I should say. WWE has moved the May 29th SmackDown taping to the River Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The original location was the Cajun Dome in Lafayette. Okay, so disappointing, because we only get 4 areas in Louisiana, being New Orleans, Bossier City for SmackDown, Raw. I can understand why they ain't coming back here, because the building sucks, falling down at the Hirsch Coliseum. Okay, and the other is of course Lafayette and Monroe and one other city, Lake Charles, I believe. Brief after Raw news and during Raw reports from some fans that were at the arena. And during Raw, Undertaker makes a botch during his in-ring promo with Triple H, incorrectly stating that WrestleMania is taking place on April 21st during his promo on Raw. After WWE Raw Super Show went off the air in Cleveland on Monday, The Rock sang happy birthday to a fan at ringside. No other results from what happened after Raw. And now for your Raw Super Show, opened up with from Cleveland, with Jerry the King Lawler in the ring. Lawler hyping The Rock and John Cena's segments tonight. He introduces John Cena. Cena comes out to his old thugonomics, rapping the crap. You know the old chain gang thing. And with the Word Life music, and has his old gear on, big chain and all. The crowd boos as Cena as he prepares to rap. And The Rock also botches the main event, as you will see in the results as well, or here in the results. Cena does his rap and says what he's been saying for weeks. Not much saying, because that's all his rap is crap. Vicky Guerrero comes out and asks everyone to excuse her again. Like I keep saying, she must have to go to the bathroom. Wish she would go, because who wants to hear her speak? She goes on and introduces Dolph Ziggler. Out he comes to his new pink t-shirt tied around his waist. And the first match of the evening is Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus, after John Cena's rap crap, and it only lasted about 8 or 9 minutes. And then the first match starts. Ziggler heads to the ring, and out next comes his opponent, Sheamus. They go to lock up, and Ziggler shows off some, dodging the lockup. Sheamus finally kicks Ziggler and takes him down to the mat. 2 count for Sheamus, and another. Sheamus keeps control and sends Dolph out to the floor as they go to the first commercial break during the match. Back from the break, and Sheamus levels Dolph with a clothesline. Sheamus continues to wear Dolph down and drops him on another shoulder. They tangle, and Sheamus hip tosses Dolph over the top rope and to the floor. Sheamus comes out, but gets into an argument with Vicky. Dolph crawls under the ring from one side of the corner and goes to the other side and drop kicks Sheamus. Dolph throws Sheamus hard into the announcer's table, and he lands awkwardly. Well, he's got a big bruise, reddish mark on his back from the announcer's table. And then they bring the action back to the ring, and Ziggler keeps Sheamus on the mat. Then we see Josh Matthews up in the skyboxes with Daniel Bryan and his girlfriend AJ. AJ acts like she is scared of Bryan, and he talks about his love for her and his opponent, Sheamus. Back in the ring, Sheamus makes a comeback and splashes Dolph before hitting a big side slam. 2 count for Sheamus. Dolph blocks the Celtic cross, but Sheamus catches him and drops him on his face. Another 2 count for Sheamus. Dolph came up off the top, but Sheamus catches him in midair. They trade counters and pin attempts. Ziggler kick out of the Celtic cross again. More back and forth action. Dolph hits a leg drop, but Sheamus kicks out at 2. They both get up, and Sheamus nails a brogue kick out of nowhere for the win. Then they get hyped for Team Laurinaitis versus Team Long before going to commercial. Santino Marella versus David Otunga is up next. Back from the break, and out comes Laurinaitis to the ring for commentary. United States Champion Santino Marella, captain of Team Long, is out next with Oksana at his side. So apparently this is supposed to be a mixed tag match. David Otunga, the captain for Team Laryngitis, is out next. Laryngitis takes the mic and makes it now a handicap match. And out comes Otunga's partner, Mark Henry. The bell rings, and out comes Teddy Long to the ring. Teddy and Laurinaitis argue. At ringside, Teddy shows Laurinaitis over in his chair at the announcer table. Back in the ring, Santino works over Otunga and gets ready for the Cobra until Mark Henry stops him, a blind tag, and the referee apparently does not see it. And Henry unloads on Santino and hits a World's Strongest Slam for the win. Duh, folks. It's a blind tag, no tag. Referee's supposed to put him back outside. Stupid. How many people that have seen Raw saw that? Many people that know wrestling know the rules. Obviously, WWE throws out the rules for certain matches. Well, after the match, Henry and Otunga pick up Santino when Kofi Kingston runs out to make the save. Kofi had no luck and gets beat down, then hit with a World's Strongest Slam from Henry. R-Truth without next, and he also gets beat down by Henry and Otunga. Otunga laid Truth out with his finisher. Laryngitis enters the ring, and Henry drops a big splash on R-Truth. Laryngitis introduces the newest member to Team Laryngitis, Mark Henry. Teddy Oksana look on from ringside. Then they showed a video for the upcoming Psych episode with The Miz for Wednesday. They go to commercial, and back from the commercial, they get footage of WWE Divas talking about WrestleMania 28 with Maria Menounos on Extra. As they go to commercial again, then they get footage of, they talked about the same thing again. Well, I think I did it twice. Okay, in that segment, Eve Torres sits backstage with Zack Ryder walking up. Same old shtick from Ryder. Eve says that they can be friends, and he doesn't like the sound of that. So she says friends with benefits. Beth Phoenix walks up and is upset about not being on Extra with the other divas. Beth is going to show up on Extra and confront Maria Menounos. Eve says that that's not a bad idea. Ryder walks off after confirming their dinner plans for later on in the night with Eve. That's the friends with benefits. Beth talks about how she could get Ryder wrapped around her finger, and it pisses Eve off. So there you go. That sets up the WrestleMania match. The Miz is backstage with John Laryngitis. Miz wants to be on Team Laryngitis at WrestleMania. Miz brings in Psych star James Rode, and he's not only in his corner, but he is the ring introductions announcer. And he also announces the winner of the match. Okay, Miz tries to plead his case for the spot at WrestleMania. Laryngitis says Miz can be on the team if he wins his match tonight. But does he win? No. Laryngitis asks Rode if he will be in the special ring announcer. CM Punk will be Miz's opponent for tonight. Rode tells Miz he's got this before he walks off. And a returning Brodus Clay is on Raw. As they showed him, the Funkasaurus returns in a squash match. Back from commercial, Brodus Clay squashes Jinder Mahal. The Funkettes came out with him and introduced Brodus Clay. Brodus dances his way to the ring, and it looks like he's lost some weight since he was last on TV. The match begins, and Brodus hits the usual moves for the squash win, which he does his splash for the pinfall. We see Shawn Michaels walking backstage before going back to commercial. So this is your segment for the confrontation between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Well, HBK comes out to a nice reaction and talks about Triple H. And then we see footage from last week of their in-ring confrontation between Shawn and Triple H. Shawn says he's been here for the past few weeks and nobody has walked up and called him a loser or a failure. Despite what Triple H said last week, Shawn says there's one person and calls out the Undertaker. Lights go out and the bell toll as Taker makes his way out. Shawn talks about the history he and Taker have and wants Taker to say what he has to say to Shawn's face. Taker brings up Shawn's insecurities and Shawn cuts him off. They go on, and Taker says he's prepared to accept a win or loss at WrestleMania, but Shawn better not let his ego get in the way. Taker says destiny will happen at WrestleMania. It will be the end of an era. Taker says the outcome must be pure, win or lose. If the outcome isn't pure, there will be hell to pay. Shawn asks if it's ironic that he could be the guy that turns Taker into a loser and a failure. Shawn says he could still be the guy that ends the streak. Shawn goes to walk off and Taker grabs his arm. Taker says he will beat Triple H in the cell and the streak will continue. Taker says he will officially end an era, but if Shawn doesn't do the right thing, he will end Shawn. Shawn backs away, stands there, and pats Taker on the arm before walking out of the ring. End of segment. As Shawn is walking up the ramp, Triple H comes out and stares down at the ring. Both of them stare down, go back and forth. Shawn continues to walk to the back, and Triple H smirks at Taker from the stage. Triple H throws a crotch chop to Taker as his music hits and he leaves. Up next is your Punk vs. Miz match. Go to the ring, out comes special guest ring announcer James Rode. Rode does a big introduction for hometown star of The Miz, and out he comes. Champion Punk is out next to a big pop, also introduced by Rode. We see Chris Jericho watching backstage as Punk gets ready. They lock up and Miz goes for an early pin attempt. If Miz gets the win here, he gets a spinal team laryngitis at WrestleMania. Punk with kicks now, and back and forth as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and Miz has Punk in an abdominal stretch. Punk fights out and kicks Miz in the head. Punk springboards in with a clothesline and another. Punk with a neck breaker and a high knee in the corner, followed by the bulldog. Punk calls for the GTS, but Miz fights him off. Miz runs into a drop kick, and Punk covers for 2. Miz comes back and hits the big DDT for a 2. They trade holds and counters until Punk locks Miz in the Anaconda device and makes him tap out. After the match, Chris Jericho appears on the big screen with no lighted jacket, just him talking. He has some dirt on Punk. He knows why Punk is straight edge, because his father is an alcoholic. Jericho says that Punk's father let him down every step of the way growing up. Jericho says alcohol is in Punk's genes, in his blood, and that tortures him. Jericho says that he has found something that gives Punk nightmares and terrifies him. Jericho says Punk craves alcohol. Jericho says he is going to be the one to make Punk drink. After April 1st, Jericho will be recognized for being the best in the world and the new WWE champion Punk will be recognized for what he is and what his father was, a pathetic drunk. Punk takes a step back and looks caught off guard. Punk slowly walks out of the ring with his head down, selling the breaking news from his father, holding the WWE title as we go back to the commercial. Back from the break, we get a promo for the law offices of David Otunga on Twitter. You can follow him or contact him for a current lawyer, which I have a few issues I might contact him on. And he does take contingency cases. He says if you don't get paid, he don't get paid. End of it. It's at David Otunga. So follow him. Randy Orton versus Jack Swagger was up next. They go to the ring and Jack Swagger waits as Randy Orton makes his way out. They lock up. Swagger goes behind, taking Orton to the mat. Swagger with another takedown, working on Orton's arm. Orton with a takedown of his own. Orton starts stomping on Swagger and Vicky Guerrero at ringside. Orton drop kicks Swagger and throws him out to the floor. Orton throws Swagger into the steel steps and slams his head into the announcer's table. Orton brings it back in the ring as we go to commercial break. Back from the break, and they're going at it in the ring. Swagger hits Orton with a big boot and takes his knee out. Swagger covers for a 2. Swagger goes for the Swagger bomb, but Orton moves out of the way. Swagger locks in the ankle lock, but Orton rolls out of it and kicks him away. Orton dumps Swagger to the apron and brings him back in with a superplex. Well, he kind of teased the draping DDT, but instead he took it to the top rope and delivered the superplex. Orton hits a pair of clotheslines afterwards, and then a power slam, scoop slam. Orton hits the draping DDT from the second rope again. Orton connects with the RKO for the win. As Orton's music plays, pyro goes off around the ring and the arena turns red. Orton looks around for Kane, but he doesn't appear. Also, Kane's music was playing, but he apparently was not there. Then they get a replay of John Cena's rap from earlier tonight. Up next is the Rock concert. Back to commercial, back from the break, and out comes The Rock with a guitar. Rock comes out and says the biggest crowd in history for WWE in Cleveland. Rock starts ripping on Cena and says he's what you get when Vanilla Ice gets busy with a Teletubby. Rock sits down to his microphone and grabs a guitar as the crowd chants. Rock starts singing his version of Cleveland Rocks, and it's all about Cena. Well, this is actually not Cleveland Rocks. This is what starts off like sounds like a Jailhouse Rock kind of, and then the next Rock has another song about Cena's mom and his wife, continued from the other song with the same type of stuff. Rock's last song is a song from Team Bring It, he says, and it's none other than We Will Rock You music as it played to hype up the crowd. And then The Rock botches a lot of the lyrics that are playing on the big screen because he tried to put it in his own words because it's done by, what is it called? With the words on the screen? Karaoke from The Rock. And The Rock thanks the crowd and as Raw goes off the air. And that concludes my Raw with Superstars results.